This simple opening will finally take your opening pain away. It starts with the move d6. I call it the universal defense because you make this move against absolutely everything. I played it for 10 years with great success. It brought me more than 500 ELO points, and I felt so happy. I now look forward sometimes to my black games much more than my white because I know what to do. I understand the opening really deep, and that is what you should do. Don't go wide and learn a bit of everything, a bit of nothing, but instead go deep and have one opening that you understand very well. Why this one is so great, yet so simple? Because you can execute the same stuff every single time. Don't worry, your games would still be rich and very fascinating because you get a lot of different middle game positions. But in the opening, you don't waste time. You just make all of your moves immediately. d6, then you play knight to f6, and then you play e5. Even though our opponent is doing something weird, he played knight to d2 instead of normal knight c3 move. Doesn't matter, we still do the same stuff. You might ask me, well, but if he plays that or this, what do I do? First, I have an entire playlist about this specific opening where I cover all possible lines and show you how to play against them. Secondly, I have an entire course, opening repertoire, which is focused and based on this exact opening for black. But not only that, it also covers all of the openings you need to know as white. So in just one course, you can build an entire holistic lifetime opening repertoire that's going to serve you for many years to come. The link would be in the description. Definitely check that out. It's going to change your life. So he plays knight to f3. He creates a threat against this e5 pawn, the main pawn that we have here. So we always defend it. We never want to lose it. He plays bishop d3. Well, bishop to d3 line without the move knight to c3 is actually the only exception where I do recommend to place our bishop on g6. On g7, sorry. We are the move g6, and the bishop is going to be very active here. In all of the other lines, we always play bishop to e7. So this game would be very instructive to remember. Why? Because our bishop in this line would be so great here, creating some problems for the d4 pawn, and he doesn't have this knight on c3. When he plays knight c3, we almost automatically always place our bishop to e7. All right, just castles. The main idea is still the same. We play on the dark squares, and here we can already take that d4 pawn. It's actually one of the main lines, so I like that. You now are going to learn what to do against it. We want to open up the center and this diagonal. We want to get counterplay. That is why we play this move c5. There are different moves white can play here. e5 is the main move. By the way, that's a 2000 ELO rated Stockfish, so the perfect example, because this opening is perfect. If you are under 2000 ELO, you're gonna crush everyone, but also above that, I'm an international master. I played this opening against many grandmasters with great success, so it's gonna help you a lot. We are taking here on e5. Again, we want to open up the diagonal. This is the entire purpose of this plan. And now we play knight to g4 and attack this guy as many times as we possibly can. The only way to defend that is to play knight c4. You want to be active in chess. You want to create as many problems for your opponent as possible. We want to attack this e5 pawn, but this knight is defending it. So what do? Well, we attack it with our pawn, b5. Don't be afraid in chess. You are not boxing. You cannot get your face crushed. So use your opportunity to be brave and to attack, to go forward. Well, we attacked his knight, but he attacks our rook. The rook is more important, so before doing anything else, we think about our rook and try to save it. Bishop g5. I'm actually pretty surprised with my opponent's play, even though it's just 2000. He's executing the main theoretical line, which, by the way, I of course cover in the 10-day opening mastery course. The link would be in the description. So here we play queen to c7. We still attack the knight. Of course, we deal with this threat. And after knight d6, we finally can take that e5 pawn. The only question we have, do we take it with the d knight or the g knight? Not sure about that, but knight d takes e5 feels a little bit more active, so I'm gonna do that. Opens up a little bit, gives opportunities for my own bishop to be developed. All right, he plays bishop f4. How do we react to that? The knight is still protected twice, so that's fine. We have time. We can even play. Oops. We can even play rook to d8 and pin that knight. I actually don't see any drawbacks to that move. Let me do that. It takes many times. Gonna take it back. But meanwhile, I again create another threat for my opponent. Please always and always try to create as many threats for your opponent as possible. Yes, he plays h3, and if we wouldn't have this counter threat, we might be in trouble. But here, I guess we can just take it with the rook first, attack that queen, and then decide later what do we do about our knights. I mean, that's a free knight. Not to take that would be stupid. Queen to e2. All right. Now the question is, how do we save as many pieces as we possibly can? We can take that knight on f3 with a check. He takes it back with something, let's say the queen. And then I want just to wait. If you take with the queen, I can just play knight to e5. Yeah, that feels very good. Knight xf3 check. And basically, no matter what he does, we can now play knight to e5. I mean, this knight is hanging anyway. This rook is hanging anyway. So knight e5 deals with both of these threats, and it stops the attack. I like it. I feel that unless I'm missing something, it's basically winning the game. And this is how powerful the field door defense is. Of course, it's going to be different. I'm not saying you're going to win every single move, every single game in 10 moves. Chess is a tough game, but this opening provides you with a very flexible solution, very simple one that you can literally start trying after this one video, or maybe watch a few more in the playlist so that you know how to react against different lines. But you see how solid and nice it is. Yet it gives us those attacking opportunities, and we basically just won a piece against a very strong opponent, 2000 elo rated. That is beautiful. All right, the knight is hanging. We still haven't won the game. We have to be as careful as possible. Maybe it's actually not even that simple as I think about it, because the knight is pinned. And if I play rook e6, which seems to be a desirable move, he has bishop e6, which adds another attacker for the knight, as well as attacks my rook on e6. Instead of that, I think about the move f6. Because if you protect with the pawn, you always have many more opportunities. It's not that dangerous for yourself. Yes, that seems to work. Now we have time to develop more stuff. For example, this bishop, maybe just bishop e6. Why not? Again, the knight is protected by the pawn, so shouldn't be a big deal. No real threats here. You might be wondering, what is this magic board I use in my videos? It's called Chess.Not Evo, and I enjoy it so much. I have it for a year now. It completely transformed the way I play chess and I train chess, because I can play both on Lichess and chess.com online, but on a real board. It's a completely different experience, and I enjoy it a lot. I haven't had any major issues, and that's my favorite product from Chess.Not, because I have everything in one place. I have my books here, I have my studies here, I have my games, but they have so many different products according to your needs and your budget. The best part is, of course, you can use the link in the description, as well as the promo code Journey to Grandmaster to get a big discount on all Chess.Not products. Now, back to video. b4, yes, I anticipated that move, but I can just play c4. I obviously never want to open up the position, don't give my opponent additional chances. But just c4, shutting it down, and again, thanks to this f6 pawn, I don't really have any issues. And how do I continue? I like the move bishop to d5, because that's gonna release the pressure, not having that many pieces here, something that can be hanging. It makes my bishop very active, and it frees up the e-file, and I can put my rooks there. Maybe he wants to play h5 and somehow create threats for me, but I don't think it's that dangerous. Okay, a4, a6, let's just protect it. If our opponent is not creating any dangerous threats, we are just winning because we have an extra piece. And this is the best strategy you can have in chess when you are having some material advantage. you always keep an eye on your opponent's ideas, your opponent's threats. You try to neutralize his counterplay as much as possible. And very important step, you try to exchange as many pieces as possible. If you have 10 pieces against 9, you only have 10% more pieces. But if you have 2 against 1, you have twice as many pieces. That is a fantastic advantage, easy to convert into a full point. So the question is, how do we exchange many pieces here? He still tries to create some threats. So I want to get rid of all of the pins, all of the forks, all of the nasty things happening here. So I play queen to c6, everything is protected, and against h5, my idea was to play g5. Just attacking that bishop, saying, well, yeah, go away or take this knight, I'm always happy to exchange more stuff. And if he plays that, maybe I even play just h6. Again, stabilizing the situation. The only weakness I have is this file, but it's not a problem, I thought, because I have knight d3. Unfortunately, it's not that simple. If I play knight to g3, he can take with the bishop, and my queen is still somehow pinned here. Maybe, yeah, queen b7 was better. So never ever make a move in chess unless you have thought about your opponent's response. Knight to g3 would blunder my entire advantage away. Instead, probably I just need to play knight to f7, bring another piece into the defense, so that everything is solid here, deal with all of the problems, and yeah, can finally start using my extra piece going into the attack. For example, rook to e2 is a huge threat, and yes, I can do that. Now rook g2 is threatening to win the queen, and so there are two steps. You deal with your opponent's threats and you create your own active play. I am successful with both of that, which provokes my opponent to sacrifice an exchange here and even exchange the queens. Remember, if you have extra material, you're always happy to exchange stuff. That is why we take here. And very important, the best way to convert your material advantage is to use all of your pieces. For example, this bishop on g7 is doing absolutely nothing. But we can simply play this move bishop f8, offer another trade. If he goes away, then, well, we have activated our bishop. It can take the b4 pawn, for example. But first, we never want to make two moves with the same piece. So I want to activate yet another one. The more pieces you improve, the more opportunities you're gonna have and the more difficult it's gonna be for your opponent. Now, all of our pieces are very active. We can even just take this pawn on b4, which creates double passers here. Yes, knight f3 was the alternative. And finally, this move knight to d3. Remember, we couldn't make it earlier because of the pin. Now it's perfectly playable, and actually all of the pieces are hanging. Let's just take this one. Always be careful with your opponent's threats and the counterplay. It's never too late to spoil your game. But I think here it's almost impossible. Let's take this guy, because I want to bring my knight closer to the king. Yes, that is why he's going away. How do I add more threats? Maybe I just push my g pawn. Let's do that. g4, g3, g2. Right. Yeah, he's still creating some threats. Let's just exchange this last active piece that he has. It should make it even simpler. Xb5, let's play g3 and execute my idea. It doesn't really matter how you convert that, as long as you are active. It's a matter of taste, but just make sure to create as many problems for the opponent as possible. And just bring my rook to h1 now. My opponent is trying to trick me into some stalemate things, but okay. If you do everything with the check, no stalemate is possible. That's exactly what I'm doing. And do I have checkmate in 1? Probably not. Checkmate in 2? Yes, that should be possible. We are queen to g2 and rook to f1. This is how this Philidor defense helps you so much to solve all of your opening problems. Here is the playlist to learn even more about it and be ready for everything and crush everyone.